we're gonna talk about this now. We're gonna talk about Snap. Snap is a big one. Oh, you don't know about the recent sanctions that Trump imposed on Russia? That's the TLDR. Oh, okay. Okay, we're gonna talk about Snap though. Snap is something that I'm into. Like I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna open up by saying that Snap, in my opinion, should be something that should be untouchable. Snap should be this holy cow. Like to begin with, it's silly that the United States as a country even has food insecurity. If that makes sense, it's just silly as a concept that the United States even is like the idea of food insecurity is even entertained in the supposedly richest country in the world. But here we are. We are at the record long um shutdown of the government, and people are just gonna go hungry, I guess, because Trump does not care. Trump uses hunger as a political chip, so just let them eat cake, quite literally. Well, he has lavish parties. A Rhode Island federal judge has ordered the Trump administration to find enough money to restore full funding for SNAP benefits by Friday. Oh yeah. By the way, this Trump is already challenging this. Trump is already defying this order. Just so you know, Trump has already decided that screw you. Actually, I have a pretty interesting quote here by JD Vance. I have somewhere about Snap. I have it somewhere around here. Where is it? I'm gonna find it. One moment. JD Vance Snap. Fun fact, JD Vance was on food stamps as a child, but nowadays he says Snap recipients are all freeloaders. Okay. Oh, there we go. There we go. We found it. I'm gonna send it to myself and I'm gonna show you because I feel like it's telling. I feel like it's worth checking out. I feel like it is worth checking out. There you go. JD Vance gives his opinion on the ruling.
Look, Jackie, it's an absurd ruling.
There you go. The one about Snap, the one that says that Snap has to be resumed by Friday.
Look, Jackie, it's an absurd ruling because you have a federal judge effectively telling us what we have to do in the midst of a Democrat government shutdown. Which what we'd like to do is for the Democrats to open up the government. Of course, then we can fund SNAP, and we can also do a lot of other good things for the American people. But in the midst of a shutdown, we can't have a federal court telling the president how he has to triage the situation. We're trying to keep as much turned on. We're trying to keep as much going as possible. The president and the entire administration are working on that, but we're not going to do it under the orders of a federal judge. We're going to do it according to what we think we have to do to comply with the law, of course, but also
Yeah, to comply with the law, we're gonna defy court order. That's totally in compliance with the law.
to actually make the government work for people in the midst of the Democrat government shutdown.
Oh yeah,
Look,
and we're gonna make the government work for people in the midst of the shutdown by, I guess, starving people. Yeah, when people starve, it is for the good of the people. Did you not know? Did you know that starving people is for the good of the people? Exactly. I love it when people say, yeah, we're just gonna defy the court order in compliance of the law, and we're doing it for the good of the people. We're starving the people for the good of the people. This is just like you cannot make this up. This is just total as clownery. As you just said, Titan. The law is what a judge says it is, you ass clown. Exactly. This is just ridiculous. In my opinion, first of all, the US should not have food insecurity. The fact that it has is a ridiculous thing to begin with. But if you have food insecurity, you need to have instruments in place to alleviate these problems. And SNAP should just be untouchable. It should just be ongoing, shut down or no. It should always be ongoing. People should always have access to these things, no matter what the situation. It should just be. And you know what? It seems like the federal judge agrees with me. It seems like the federal judge is with me on that no matter what, people should have access to food. I don't think it's ridiculous to say that people should not be going hungry. Why do you even say to that? Because these people are just monsters. And they're just, what a shock that in so many places all of a sudden the Democrats have won the elections when um, the attitude of the MAGA crowd is, yeah, let's just let people starve. There's just affordability. There's a whole thing about affordability. I guess I'm gonna get into it later, but for now we're talking about Snap, and the Snap thing really, really infuriates me. And ironically, the Snap thing just makes me really angry. The fact that for the sake of some political gains, the president can just decide, yeah, just I don't care that 40 million people are gonna go hungry. Who cares? And then there's other the words America first or make America great again. Like, yeah, okay, sure. Why not make America great again by making it starve? It's just like there 40 million people. It's a lot of people that just really, really depend on these things. Like life's already hard enough. And bear in mind, okay, because the what the federal judge is saying that is that the government has to tap into the emergency fund right now, which is like what $7 billion, and that's not really enough to fully cover the SNAP costs. So that already downcuts what the recipients will get, even if Trump will listen to the ruling, will follow the ruling. The SNAP recipients will still get less than they would have. So it is still not the best outcome. The best outcome would be for the shutdown to end because uh, this emergency fund is also not infinite. And once that runs out, we're back where we were before with SNAP. Just so that's clear as well. Just so we're clear on that as well. In failing to fully fund the food assistance program that covers 42 million, I'm sorry, I was off by 2 million. 42 million low-income Americans, U.S. District Court Judge John McConnell Jr. said government failed to consider the harms individuals who rely on those benefits would suffer. He also said President Trump showed intent to defy a court order when he posted on Truth Social this week that SNAP benefits would not restart until after the federal shutdown was over. A comment that was walked back by the White House. Thank God where the White House has some sense. The U.S. Department of Agriculture swiftly appealed to the judge's ruling to the U.S. Court of Appeals for the First Circuit, keeping food aid in a limbo because I don't know, the Trump administration just hates the poor. They just hate the idea of people getting food assistance. And you know what? I'm gonna use this opportunity to say that I really hate all the frigging discussions that happen around SNAP when people start saying, "Oh, should SNAP recipients get this food? Should they get to get steak? Should they get to get a soda? Should they get to buy some chips?" Yes. Okay, yes. The answer is yes. Like life is not about misery and survival. People should be able to get some luxury items from SNAP. Yes. Some pleasure foods. Like not even luxury, just pleasure foods. I 100% believe that they should be able to do so. And I don't care. Okay? I don't care about whiners that say, oh, my thanks, dollarinos. How dare people have any pleasure in life? No, just, I hate this. I hate this whole discussion. Should you be able to get a Coca-Cola on Snap? In a statement to NPR, the USDA blamed Senate Democrats for withholding services to promote their agenda and compromising not only SNAP, but farm programs, food inception, and animal and plant disease protection of rural development and protecting federal lands. I don't know. It seems like it's the Republicans that are not willing to negotiate with the Democrats in any way around the shutdown, which is why it's dragging out for so long. The judge's order Thursday afternoon comes in response to a challenge filed by cities and nonprofits after the administration said it would halt funding for the program on November 1st. McConnell and another federal judge in Boston ordered the government to use emergency funds to keep SNAP funding flowing. That's basically $7 billion, the emergency funding. So it's a band-aid. Let's just call it that. It's a band-aid. But Trump administration officials said it was only able to partially cover the payments. The court could not be more clear, said Sky Perryman, president and CEO of Democracy Forward, on the groups that brought the lawsuit. The Trump-Vance administration must stop playing politics with people's lives by delaying SNAP payments they are obligated to issue. Yes, that is absolutely the case. It is absolutely the case that they must stop doing so. Absolutely. On Wednesday night, the Trump administration said it would cut November's SNAP food benefits by a bit less than it had previously announced. In revised guidance for states, which are calculating partial payments, the USDA said in a court filing maximum allotment would be reduced by 35% instead of 50. How generous. Even with the smaller proposed cut, the complex formula for reduced payments would have stayed the same and still means steep cuts for those who rely on the country's largest anti-hunger program. USDA's proposed change came after an analysis by the left-leaning Center on Budget and Policy Priorities, which found the agency's original formula for partial payments would not have tapped all of its contingency funds. Two federal judges had found the administration is legally bound to spend that money to keep SNAP going. True. CBPP also estimated the original reduced benefit plan would have left nearly 5 million people with no payment at all this month. Just go hungry. Just die, I guess. Who cares? Not the MAGA crowd, apparently. USDA did not respond to NPR's request for comment on the center's analysis or its changed plan, but in a court filing late Wednesday related to the revised partial payment formula, the Justice Department wrote the agency realized this error and worked to issue new guidance and the tables as soon as it was discovered. The change will be small in some cases. For example, the minimum allotment for some 1 to 2 person household under the USDA's revised formula went from $12 to $16. McConnell ordered the administration to restart the country's largest anti-hunger program after funding lapsed last Saturday. A month. Oh, sorry. I think I have to check the. I think the danger's passed. Sorry, I have this app that warns me, even though I can just hear it outside the window. But I also have an app to warn me whenever there is danger. I have an app. Yeah, the USDA itself warned it could take weeks or even months to get benefits to people. I hate this situation. Oh yeah, implementing the administration's complex partial funding formula presents enormous procedural challenges for states which administer the program that serves 42 million Americans. It requires a complete recalculation and a complete recoding of our system, said Tiki Brown, the head of Minnesota's Department of Children, Youth and Families. She said there is no timeline yet for payments in her state. Yeah, of course, a lot of children will be affected by this as well. So, as if not enough children went hungry to school already. This crap now. Danny Mintz, who works for the Civic Technology Nonprofit Code for America, said some states have antiquated systems from the 1970s that make it difficult to quickly implement sweeping calculation changes, which, again, the most wealthy country in the world and still uses systems from the 1970s. Like, let that sink in. There are legitimate concerns that altering the calculations or of benefits may break things, he said. The quickest way for states to get benefits into people's hand is for USDA to fund the full amount of SNAP benefits, which was ordered by the court, the federal judge. Some states already are warning it could be weeks before payments can be made. In a bluntly worded letter to USDA, seen by NPR member station WESA, WISA. Pennsylvania Human Services Secretary Val Arkush said the federal government is directing states to use the most complex and labor-intensive approach possible. Pennsylvania is asking to use a simpler, faster method that was allowed for pandemic-related aid and would essentially give everyone half their SNAP payment, which already is, that's already bad. Half the payment is already egregiously bad. Like, I swear to God, SNAP should be something that is just outside of the whole shutdown thing. After last minute appeal attempt, appellate court rules Trump Vance administration cannot hold the release of full SNAP benefits by tonight. Yes, yes, yes. Get him. Is Trump gonna violate this one as well? Is Trump Vance admin going to just continue violating court orders? We're gonna have to see. After the Trump Vance administration's lack of compliance with the U.S. District Court Judge McConnell Jr.'s orders to release November Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program (SNAP) benefits at last-minute appeal and request for a stay by the government, the First Circuit Court of Appeals tonight preliminarily decided not to halt the flow of food assistance despite the administration's request to do so. I just cannot stress enough how anti-people this administration is. Please, please, please let us starve the citizens of the United States. Please, court, please let us not give people food stamps. This case was brought by cities, unions, nonprofits, and a retailer because the administration tried to unlawfully freeze food assistance during a shutdown, but they engineered cutting off essential support from 42 million people in America. 42 million people without food. It's just 42 million is like, it's like a population of an entire country. That's more than the population of Poland currently. So that would mean that every single Polish people will go hungry. It's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous to think about. It's crazy. Insane. To just decide we should freeze aid for 42 million people. Yeah, I feel so too. The U.S. District Court for the District of Rhode Island has twice ordered the administration to deliver SNAP payments promptly, and most recently to make full November payments, including by using contingency funds. The Courts of Appeals tonight denied the government's request for an administrative stay. Even with this decision, the government has tonight filed a stay application with the U.S. Supreme Court by 9:30 ET. The Trump-Vance administration continues to attempt over and over to take food out of the hands of families, seniors, workers, and children. And every time they tried, the courts told them what the law already makes clear. They cannot. Even though Vance tried this whole song and dance about wanting to comply with the law, it's nonsense. That's a total lie. Said Sky Perryman, president and CEO of Democracy Forward, American families should not be used as political props in a shutdown that this White House manufactured. Even as the administration attempts again for an appeal to the Supreme Court to deprive people of nutrition, we will continue to meet them with effective legal action and secure benefits for the American people. This is insane. I just cannot stress this enough. This is insane that the government is fighting tooth and nail, just fighting, just get that food away from people. Just gone. I cannot get more pissed about this. It just cannot. This is the government of the United States is actively trying to starve its population and just make America great again. Titan runs. Even with benefits, over 13% of American households are food insecure, meaning they have difficulty getting enough food for all family members, and 5% have at least occasional lack of nutrition. That is just ridiculous. That should not be happening. That should not be happening at all. It should not be that should not be a thing. That is the most ridiculous thing. Now it's just just rob people of the benefits. The fact that even with the full benefits, 13% of households are food insecure, and that 5% have at least occasional lack of nutrition. That is just ridiculous. We're gonna change the title actually. We're not watching a debate. Breaking. Snap appeal to Supreme Court. There you go. Oh, snap. We're going hungry tonight. Supreme meme. I wrote Supreme Meme Court. The Supreme Meme Court. Maybe some people will come to watch the Supreme Meme News. Incup says 10% of America is on Snap and like 50% of American will be on Snap at some point in their life. It's a really useful program that will hurt. That this will hurt a lot. Yeah, I know. I've been doing a very long segment tonight on Snap and let's just say that I've been airing my frustration, airing my rage at the fact that the Trump administration seemed to just hate people so much. Trump administration live updates. President appeals to Supreme Court after losing bid to curtail food stamp aid. There you go. A federal appeals court on Friday denied a last-minute attempt by the Trump administration to halt food stamp funding during the federal shutdown, which is a thing that we've covered. We've covered every step of the way tonight of the SNAP fiasco, prompting the government almost immediately to challenge that decision at the Supreme Court. Some states, including New York, Kansas, Pennsylvania, and Oregon, had already said that they were preparing to send uh, food stamp benefits to restart the critical aid program, even as a legal battle with the White House remained unresolved. The White House is fighting, fighting to keep people hungry. It's just they're fighting for it. Shutdown negotiations. Democrats in the Senate offered a proposal to end the shutdown if their Republican counterparts agree to extend health insurance subsidies for 1 year. The plan is almost certainly dead on arrival because of Republican opposition, but it is still a major move by Democrats who cut back on their demands to make the subsidies permanent and repeal medical Medicaid cuts. There you go. Cornell University reached an agreement with the administration to restore hundreds of millions of dollars in federal funding to the university. So I'm looking forward to the Supreme Court decision. I guess that's where we are at.